Well, good day and welcome once again to Moments with Dr. Steve. I'm Dr. Steve Bonenberger, and this is my Friday. I don't know what it is for you, but whatever day it is, whatever time it is, whatever it is, wherever it is that we find you, we send you welcome and grace and courage. And Mondays for me are all about biblical wisdom, and I've begun teaching through the chunk on the Gospel of John that I have put together. If you're interested, go to stalegius.org and you can request a copy of the notes. Tuesdays, we talk about the Writer's Covenant because many people throughout the years have said, how do you write? So I put together a piece that I think is a classic piece on writing called The Writer's Covenant. You can find it at stalegius.org. Wednesdays are all about the way out, and the way out is my opus magnus on human healing, and it's the prescriptive remedy for you to find a way out of your difficulty. And so you can find it and get a copy here at stalegius.org. Thursdays we work through Gates of Fire, and what fun that is. That's my first epic landscape novel series. And you can find copies of that here at stalegius.org. And Fridays, Fridays we are beginning to deal with the epic ascent of my life, which is Akeldima the Saga. And Akeldima the Saga is the great triumphal literary accomplishment of my life, and I am still working on it. 10 years and clocking into the process. You can get copy here at stalegius.org. And when you think about literature and you think about storytelling, you have to go back to origins, don't you? You have to imagine that I wanted to create stories. You have to imagine I had no idea literally how to do this. You have to remember that I was a cast off and forgotten, creature that was of all things a castaway preacher. There's no lower rung in the universe than a preacher that's been, jettisoned from his or her congregation for whatever reason, or has left that congregation for personal reasons of their own. You find yourself in those moments with that, and you understand that you're roadkill, you're pond scum, and I'll stop and parenthetically say many of you have been discarded and cast off by churches and religious people. Don't give up hope. Join our community. Light then finds you. Join our community and dive deep into the messages that God has implanted and installed inside of you. You are the potential imprint for change in someone else's life. And the religious people cast me away like one might toss a foil wrapper from a spent piece of gum out a speeding train window. That's what it felt like. And the non-religious people thought me pretty stupid because they thought to themselves, well, how hard can it be to keep religious people happy? It turns out it's harder than you might think. And I found myself alone and emerged in the murky quicksand and the mire of my own many failures. And so I began to do what I always did and what I've always done, which is write. Writing is the last thing that I have always had left. By God's grace, God gave me the brain power and the skill and the grit and the stamina and the determination to be able to be a writer, a crafter of tales. And so I had no options left, and I had no audience because who would listen to me? I was a throwaway. I was a cast off. I was a dispensed one. I was a forgotten one. And some of you understand that. You know what it's like to be cast off and to be suspended from what used to be your life. And so I returned to doodling and framing and imagining and dreaming, and I looked back over my journals and I found these threads, and I found this character that had mysteriously appeared to me 15 plus years prior to that moment. This was 25 years ago. And I began to dream and imagine about this person, and Flash Bastion became a real person to me. And God began to just drop these hints of story into the very fabric of my psyche. Now, that was over 25 years ago, and Through Gates of Fire was born. But now, fast forward to today. Now Akeldima, the saga, has emerged. And in days to come, on Fridays, we are going to focus and drill into this great epic tale of literature. It's a remarkable story. And my goal is to immerse you into this treacherous and yet treasured tale of men and women who refuse to buckle, who have grit and sinew and say, no, not on my watch. Men and women who see God as still a very viable option and a plan indeed, a reliable plan for rescue of men and women who see the miraculous as these tiny tunnels of hope that rescue a culture that is in great need and facing and staring down great harm. Akeldima, the saga, is a tale for this moment. Find it. Go to stalegius.org. Find a copy, secure a copy, begin to immerse yourself in this tale and these threads, and then let's continue a conversation. There are many people already on the trail and on the conversation thread. We want you to be next. Till next time. I'm thrilled to be able to share these moments with you because these are moments with me, Dr. Steve Bonenberger. Travel far.